My mom used to be an RN at a hospital in a small western town. This hospital was connected to a senior living home, and at night the RN overwatched both sides of the building, hospital and the elderly living home. She was usually the overnight RN and would have either one or two CNAs work as well. She has experienced the apprehension about 6 or 7 times during her 10-year stint there, and everyone has referred to the apparition as the Man in Black. Each experience was identical except for the location of the building. Frequently throughout the night, she would have to do her rounds, checking vitals, checking the heartbeats, just etc., etc. And would have to walk around a corner from the nurses' station slash emergency room towards the 6 beds in the hospital and towards the senior home. She would see the variation either right after rounding the corner or right after walking out of a room and walking to the next. Outside the next room, walking out of a room and walking to the next, she would see the same apparition. The apparition was of a person in a black Old West type suit with the worn black cowboy boots and a cowboy hat to match. The creepiest thing about the man, assuming that his face was not very distinct, she would describe it as though a man's face was drawn with charcoal and slightly smeared, making it slightly blurred. He was about 6'5" and would tower over her as she was 5'5". But whenever she would see him, whether it's 10 feet or 30 feet, he would stand there looking at her and then turn and walk into the room he was outside of. When she would walk into that room, there would not be any other person in there or anything out of place. The first few times scared her to a panic, but she slowly just went on without letting it freak her out. But with this man came some extra attention to the patient. The here was that about 90% of all experiences seen by other RNs as well, the patient's health would deteriorate in the next few days. The patient would most often, unfortunately, pass away shortly after. So whenever the overnight RN saw the Man in Black, extra precautions would be taken with that patient. Another weird thing about the man is that it is always seen just by the RN. Not a single CNA has personally seen the figure. I've always said that he knew who could be able to help the most at that time. I, on the other hand, took it as completely opposite. I always thought it was almost to mock the RNs because he would let them know that something was going to happen, but they could not do anything about it, even though I'm not an RN to see him. It still creeps me out every time I walk down the halls and she points to where she last saw him or it. I cared for an elderly woman with no family who came to us when her husband died. She didn't speak often, but when she did, it was usually just words that made no sense together, kind of like when the president talks. I felt so bad for her because ever since she had arrived, so many of the residents in her area that she seemed to enjoy spending time with had passed in such a short time span. She put a picture of each of them next to her pictures of her husband and several others who were probably family to remember them. I had always felt sorry for her and just showed her extra attention, and we actually became kind of close. It just seemed so unfair that she had such luck and I kept losing people that she cared about. One day she looked at me and said, "Plain as day, sweetie, I think I'm done now," and handed me a picture. What? I was kind of confused. It was a picture of me, and I smiled because it touched my heart that I was that important to her. She passed nearly a week later, and I cried for days. Literally. It hit me really hard. She knew it was the end for her, and she said goodbye as best she could. Less than 2 years later, I am talking with a colleague, and she came up in conversation. My colleague referred to her as that crazy bitch. What? I don't remember. I wouldn't describe her as that, which seemed very out of character for her, as it shocked and offended me deeply. I expressed this to her not so nicely, and she looked at me deeply. Oh dear, do you not know? And then explained something to me I hadn't known. As it turned out, it came out sometime after she passed that she had killed her husband by poisoning him, and that there was an investigation being processed because it appeared that she had a ritual of befriending someone, obtaining a picture of them, and hiding the picture until she could kill them. What? Usually by poisoning and then displaying the picture as a sort of fucking trophy. It was suspected that this may have been the reason for the spike in mortality rate during her stay and the considerable number of photos in her collection. Now, all the pieces are starting to come into place. The last I heard, the old family photos weren't any relation to her. They were trophies, or quote-unquote trophies, of the people that she killed. She handed a photo of me, and it makes me freak out to this day, this very day, of why she gave me that photo. I developed two theories. One, she may just give me a photo because she knew that she was going to die. She just wanted something. She just wanted me to have something to remember her by. That's the theory that I like and that I choose to believe. But my friend came up with another one. She said, "Well, you remember how she killed people by poisoning them, and then basically she would have photos of the people that she poisoned as sort of a trophy or as sort of a thing, or the reason why she kept photos was just because. I don't know why. It's very, very strange though. But she says, I think the real reason that she handed a photo to you is not because it's something to remember her by because she was about to hit the other road of her life. No. And I said to my colleague, I think that's exactly why. But go on. And she said, no. If that was the case, she probably would have given a photo of the two of you together, because you do have photos of two of you together, right? And I said, yes. And she said, well, there is a reason why she gave a photo of only you and not the two of you, because not only did you have photos of the two of you together, she had photos of the two of you together. Digital, like actual, not only digital, but also actual, real life printed out photos of you two together. The reason she only gave a photo of you is back to the reason that she had a picture of everyone that she recently just killed, mainly by poisoning or stabbing or whatever the way she kills people. So, because of that, she must have given you a photo as she was not exactly ready, but was planning on killing you next. My theory is that you were the next person on her hit list, but she just couldn't do it in time as the end was slowly approaching for her. I guess she got tasted for her own medicine before she could have killed you, and this basically made me freeze up. A woman that I had such a good relation with over years, at least 2-3 years I can remember, and always was so nice to me and always loved me and cared for me and asked me so many questions if I was okay and asked me about my life and asking all and being so, and it seemed to be so invested. I think she asked me all those to gain her trust, so that I wouldn't imagine or see it coming as that I was going to be the next person that she was going to go and kill me for. Now that I realize that I vowed to never, ever care for another person in that home, as I don't work in that home, as I put in my 2 weeks notice right after I talked with my colleague. Now I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I definitely don't want to take the chance of another crazy lady who might act just like her and have the same fucked up brain where she goes ahead, kills people, and gets a photo of them. Safe to say, that's the last time I ever trusted someone like that, and will ever trust someone like that again. Ever.